So we have a real treat for you here. Sensei is going to tell us about a couple of his classes that he has, and I'm really excited to see what you have to tell us. So let's take a look. So tell me about this class. What are we seeing?
So the couple arts that we do at the dojo is karate and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So this is just basically my karate class. So basically what I've done is I just asked a handful of students to come down to record this, and we have from the small kids all the way to adults in the back, and different levels. So some of those people in the back have been literally training with me since they were 4 years old, and now they're teenagers in grade 9. So yeah,
there's such a level of synchronization. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, that martial, that militant aspect is really important. So you see the kids here are actually doing some of the sparring, or the kumite, in Japanese it's called kumite. So this is Jiu kumite, or free sparring. So they're just practicing getting in and out, practicing all the kicks and punches and the blocks that they use, but in a more of a real setting. So this is the type of sparring that you will see in a tournament for nationals and international competition.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like you said, there's such an age range. Like you see this visual. There's that young man in the yellow. He can't be more than 5 or 6. And then there's older women and men in the back.
Yeah, we have from second, third degree black belts in the back that have been with me 11 years. To some kids that just started training, like the little one in the front. I think she's been with me for about 1.5 years now. And the way we run our programs, it just helps them grow and get bigger. So what they're practicing now is just what we call kihon, or basics. So this is the foundation or the building blocks of martial arts. So they're just basically practicing how to kick, how to punch, and how it works, and in what sequence to get good at doing it. And then you take it and apply it to more of that kicking and punching sequence.
Okay, you got to explain this. Somersaults? How does this work?
So what the kids are doing and the adults are doing here is called a front roll. So this is the more of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu aspect of the martial arts that we do. So in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the self-defense is what happens when you get pushed down on the ground. So when you see some of them rolling, so imagine them getting pushed in the back, and they have to do a front roll to get back up on their feet so that they can defend themselves. So, and again, we have from older kids, younger kids, so that's the age and belt color range. So again, kids that have been training for about 1 year, and then people as long as 11 years. That kid rolling right there, he's been with me for like 10 years.
Wow.
Yes.
So you've seen quite a progression in their martial arts abilities and their life. You've seen them grow up as young adults, and that little guy there, look at him, he's so excited to be here, and you get that vibe off of them, and I think that's one of the big difference about the dojo is people want to be there.
It's probably the most important reason why I do teach them, is to watch them and to show. So what they're doing here is just a front break fall. So if you get pushed hard enough and fast enough, you don't have the ability to actually roll out of it. So you have to stop yourself from falling down on the ground and hurting yourself. So they're learning how to fall properly, just in case they get pushed from the back. And we do live in Canada, and there's a lot of ice and snow. So most of the time we end up falling down on the ground. So this is a way that you can protect yourself from falling and not getting hurt.
That's actually my question. How do you avoid getting hurt when working in this type of situation? Because some of these don't look like they feel very good.
Yeah, the break fall part of the jiu-jitsu is really, really important. If you're going to, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is all about ground self-defense. So how mainly the art is to teach you how to defend yourself off the ground. Well, before you get on the ground to defend yourself, someone has to either throw you on the ground, or you have to trip and fall on the ground.
Yeah.
So learning those break falls. Now this is a back break fall. So imagine someone pushing you from the front and you're falling backwards. And they have to break their fall and then get in a position to be able to either stand up, like you see some of them get up so that they can get out of a bad situation, or just break fall and get up, or fall down and have a ready position so they can defend themselves.
So you notice they're using their arms first. Is that a way to avoid hurting your back, or is that just a method of falling appropriately? Or
you're 100% right. The arms break the fall so that your back and your head and the rest of your body don't get hurt.
Oh, okay.
So you'll see here the gentleman with the black belt on, he's one of my students, one of my instructors up in Shelburne. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's been training with me for 11 years, and he's actually teaching one of the students how to do a foot sweep, so how to attack or trip someone in a situation. So in the class setting, what we want to try to do is we want to try to encourage the kids to be able to work with adults and learn how to do some of the self-defenses that we practice.
So it's one of the important things when you say, because you say I'm teaching them how to get out of situations, do you make sure they understand that it's only right to do this in the right situation?
It's the most important part of martial arts, is about teaching that you're only using this in a self-defense aspect. Now these kids here are actually part of my elite team. So these kids in 4 years, if they keep practicing and working hard, might have the ability to go to Japan and compete for Canada in the martial arts. And they're doing what we, again, call the Kumite part. You can see how fast and precise they're actually kicking and punching at each other at full speed, and no one's getting hurt. So this part here is what we call the Judo part. So when you learn your break falls, like you were looking at the beginning of class, self-defense sort of starts standing, and someone has to assume the ground position. So we teach how to defend yourself standing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and get the person down on the ground, so you're hoping that you're the one throwing the person down and you're not getting thrown. So you're learning both. In this instant, you're learning not only how to defend yourself, maybe you're the one doing the throw, but how to fall properly. So all this stuff is basically how to get really close to your partner and then put them down on the ground so that you can either get out of a bad situation, or if you fall down, you can do your break fall. And over again, you see them practicing a whole bunch of different falls, so and throws. So what happens when you kick the person's leg, or what happens when they get close and you hug them? So the whole goal is that they're going back and forth and just practicing their judo.
So that being said, as you said, there's different types of exercises on how to do this. How do you avoid injury?
Well, you need really good instruction, and you really need a good martial arts school. It takes a lot of time. You see some of the younger ones are practicing, and they've been a couple years, and it's very safe. To get to the point where you're doing stuff like this, you need to be training a while. Robin, Chris, and Johnny have been with me for over 10 years. All three of them. Not only are they high-level BJJ practitioners, but they're also my MMA guys. So that when you do karate and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, at the end you can do some mixed martial arts. So they're my three competitors in mixed martial arts and have actually got into the ring and competed. So this is just some of the randori. So if the stand-up part of art is getting in and out and punching and kicking, the ground sparring is this part here. It's called randori or rolling. So that's what you see them doing. We're just sort of rolling on the ground and free sparring. So this is again the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You can see we have thicker gis on, and our belt's a little bit different. I do have a black belt in both arts. So you'll see we're practicing just the self-defense part of it. So that's one of my instructors. She not only has a black belt, you would see her in part of the karate, but she also has a black belt or a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So she can not only defend herself kicking and punching, but she has self-defense with grappling as well. So you can see every time I try to put my hands on her and do different attacks, she has the answer to the question and how she can defend herself. I'm going to grab her and try to hug her, and she's just going to take me and literally, without kicking and punching me, just basically throw me over her shoulder.
On average, how long does it take to get to black belt?
It depends on which art. If we're talking karate, usually about 5 to 6 years we can get a black belt in karate, and jiu-jitsu it's usually about 10 to 11 years. Wow. And that depends on how much time you put in. Yeah, so we're just finishing up here. This is the Jiu-Jitsu guys, and this is how you would line up in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. And basically what's happening is we're just paying our respects. We're saying thank you for coming down. We're saying thank you for practicing. And in Jiu-Jitsu, we literally bow, we handshake, and we hug each other. And everyone goes down the line and hugs and says thank you for coming down and participating in class. So this is just the end of class. And it's a really good way to show respect and gratitude for all the practice that we just did. And everyone you can see has a really good smile on their face. And after just, not only exercising and getting in shape, but learning at the same time. So it's a really, really an important part of the class to show that gratitude.
That was amazing. Thank you. I'm really glad that we got to come see that, because you get an idea of what's going on. So a couple more questions we have. So you were telling me you're at black belt. So explain to me what that level means. What did you have to do to get there?
Well, in karate, I've been a black belt for almost 25 years now, so it's been a long, long time. 94. So I got my March of 94. So now there's 10 different degrees of black. Every martial art's a little bit different, and every karate style is a little bit different. So we have 10 degrees of black, and I'm at the 5th degree. And to get that 5th degree black belt, I literally had to go in front of all my seniors. There was 8th and 9th and 10 dans, and they put me through a real rigmarole to try to get and it was but a lot of fun. It was a good grading. It's not something that is easy. You just don't get it in the mail. I had to travel all the way to LA, Los Angeles, to get this grade.
So was that, it sounds very physically exhausting. What about your mental state? What was that like doing that? How did you work yourself up for that?
It's both, mostly mental state. Physically, when you've been training as long, and I don't do this for part-time, this is what I do for a living. So if you're not in physical shape at this point, then they're not even going to ask you to step up to do this rank. It's the mental part. And not only that, but it's not only what I can do as a person at this level, but it's what I can give back. So what have I done for the martial arts and for karate in general will get me that 5th degree black belt. Not just because I'm putting a belt on and I put my gi on and I go into class. At this level of black belt, it only comes when you have started to give back, like teaching or going around teaching self-defenses or even helping out at your martial arts school.
Are you going to go for your 10th? Is that the goal?
Yeah, this is a lifetime thing. I can honestly tell you, timeline to go from one rank to another, it takes a long time. It's that rank plus a year. So for me to go for my, let's say, 10th degree black belt, which I probably won't get there age-wise, I'll have to wait a minimum of 11 years.
Wow.
So for me to go for my 6th degree black belt, it's a 7-year wait. Wow. And that's in karate. So in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I also have a 1st degree black belt in BJJ. So it's 2 separate arts that I train in. I've also done boxing and wrestling and a lot of other martial arts as well. I've actually started Aikido, and I got an orange belt in Aikido. So I'm not opposed to starting all over again and being a student. So yeah, it takes a long time. But when you're in it for the long haul, it's pretty easy.
Well, amazing. I really want to thank you so much, Sensei, for being with me, and it's been incredible learning about your school. And make sure you check them out. They are an incredible, renowned school in this town, and they will definitely make your martial arts experience great. I'm Molly Heidbip, signing off. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.